morning from Arkansas, and I hope it's a good morning from wherever you're at. But anyway, let's get started because we have a lot to learn today. Anyway, I brought along the color chart that I use when I go out on plein air painting or watercolor or acrylic, and I couldn't go, or I can't really paint without this color guide and what to mix with what to get what color that I want. And I brought along a picture that will show you how we can get those colors perfect on this particular picture from this color chart. And also I brought the painting that I'm working on a board. It's a 16 by 12 by 16, pardon me. And so I take a picture and I have it enlarged, and so I'm going to copy it as most watercolorists do. We do take pictures or whatever we've drawn and have it enlarged so that we can put it on a board or a canvas or whatever we're going to work on paper. But I love the colors on this picture, and so I wanted to show you that I haven't finished with it yet, but I want to make it different than what I see in the picture. So we'll put that down for now, but I've copied that off and then I've started painting it. This is acrylic on this board, and I've never worked on like a masonite board before. And I find it's not very easy. I've seen other artists work on it, friends of mine work on them, and I think, how do you make it look so good? And so I'm working on making it so good on this, my first board. But it's not like painting on paper or canvas. So I wanted to share that with you, but it's fun to try when you're a beginner. You can copy pictures, but you just can't sell them and from other people or a magazine or whatever. But it's great practice to do this, to get a picture going and work on it and use your color guide. And it's something that is a must to do whenever you're a watercolorist. Also, the difference is this is tracing paper. And a lot of people get confused when I say tracing paper or transfer paper. It's two different things. I usually will use black on some occasions, but then I really discovered this red, which I really like. And on the picture that we're going to start painting today, I've used the red. So I want you to know the difference between transfer paper and tracing paper, because it's two different things. So anyway, let's get started on this picture that I have brought to show you how to paint. Anyway, I still use my board, and I line this up because I want to get it just about right, but then I want to put this red marking all the way around this picture. It's kind of like don't paint outside the lines, but that's not true with watercolor. You can paint outside the lines. So I have it here, and I've got a very light red line. Let me get rid of some of this. Let me hold this up so that you can see it from the camera. I think you can do it, can't you? Okay, it's too light. But anyway, I've got the square here, and I've got that picture that I've traced already onto this paper, watercolor paper, and that's what we're going to paint today. And when I laugh and say we can paint outside the lines, outside these lines that I just put on with my mat, this will be a good place where you want to test your color. You do it outside the lines. Don't do it inside, but do it outside where you've marked your mat. So let's get started and get painting. So what do I do first? We do the sky first, of course. So we need a little fat brush, watercolor brush. I need my paper towel back. I can't paint without a paper towel in my hand. But anyway, let's put some, inside that line there, I want to put some water, kind of prepare the paper. This is very heavy duty watercolor paper. I like the stronger paper. And then I'm going to go into a little bit of light blue over here in my color palette. And I'm just going to start letting that kind of to float inside the lines. And I want to keep getting it wetter and wetter because I'm not going to paint everything all blue. I want some white in there, so we got some clouds. And you know, this is something that you just always automatically know when you're painted for a long time, to leave the clouds. I guess I should get the picture back, shouldn't I? Then I can see what I'm doing. That would be a good idea. There it is. I found it. But I don't want to do it exactly like this artist has done. I love the colors. I'll use the same colors, but I want to make it a little bit different than whomever it is that painted this. And you can go over these red markings. And since we're painting it light, the light blue and everything, then it's great. So this is all wet up there, but I can't do any more in that area. So there's a lot of, let's go with a brown down here, but I didn't wet it because I want it to be kind of heavy looking and let it splash a little bit more. Let's get the horse in there. And I can paint over lines, which is good. They don't streak. Now with the carbon paper, when you use it to transfer stuff on your paper or whatever, it will bleed when you put the water on it. So I like the red pencil or transfer paper, since I found it at Hobby Lobby. I really like it. And if you're at home and everything, you will have a hair dryer to dry this, what I'm doing here, and to dry your whole picture when you want to paint, continue to paint on it, because I'm picking just spots now. Okay, so while the sky dries, and now that our foreground here is drying too, that's the one good thing about watercolor, is it's wet for a while, so I think that's good because you can always go back in and add more. And actually, I should add, you never keep the sky the same color. I'm going to go into a little bit deeper blue over here, and I'm going to come in here and put a different color blue. I want it to be a little bit darker on one side of the paper, and just let it puddle right on up. I like puddles. And the weatherman says, we're going to get some rain today, which we'll have puddles, which is good. We need the rain. I'm sure you do too. Oh, there's a spot that I missed. That's got that little bitty spot there. Okay, that's better. So now I got a smaller brush. And now I'm going to go in, since this is all wet, I got to be careful not to put my hand down on the paper. I've done it a million times, and I'm going, oh, I don't want to do that. And it messes it up, and then I got to fix it. So I don't like fixing paintings, but I'm going to pick colors out of his clothing that he's got on, this flute player. And as you know, I really like to paint Indians in what things that they do. So I'm going to get some brown, really dark brown, so I can color his pants on him. And I have to do that on that other one. I work with this little finger to go put it on the paper, so I can hold my brush, and I want to keep it plenty watered as I go along. And be careful you don't drop any water on your paper as you bring it back across. I've done that a million times too, so these are kind of tips that I'll pass on to you. And it doesn't matter if you're a new painter or an old painter. You don't want your paint to drip where you don't want it because it will color it. Okay, so I can't believe how fast the year has gone. We're almost at Christmas time and Thanksgiving time, my gosh. I might add that I live in Arkansas and I live in Bella Vista in this area. And at my church, we are having a bazaar on November 2nd. So if any of my friends are watching me from this area, make sure you make the holiday bazaar at St. Bernard's Church, because we've got some pretty stuff. I even painted an antique ironing board, which I don't know where I found the ironing board, but I did somewhere. And I picked it up, and it's been sitting in my garage forever, so my husband's glad it's out of the garage. So I'm going to go up here and make a dark blue. As you can see, he's got a dark blue top on him. Whoops, there's where I'm talking about. Don't splash on your painting. I had too much and I started talking and forgot about the paint on the brush. But I have to make this blue, I guess it's a wraparound blanket that he's got on him. And I'm going to let it puddle also because it gives a nice look being puddled. And I particularly like that expression. It's puddled. And then you just can work it in wherever you want it. But I do this, I start the clothing and everything because everything around him is wet, which is good. I don't mind that. But I just got to keep my fingers and hands out of it. But when you put the darker in here, you'll see what I mean in a second. You can pull it to wherever you want it. And you can make these fine. I love detail work. And this is what I call detail work, is with a small brush, and I'm pulling it every which way. And I'm kind of just tapping it. It kind of moves itself, which is really fun. And the best part is you get really a lot of nice stuff out of it. Nice look. Okay, I'm not going to do his banner there. I'm going to do the dark brown on that horse's saddle, I guess. He's got a saddle on underneath that blanket because they have the horses built to hold something on him, a saddle or whatever. I always thought Indians rode bareback. That's kind of hard on your body. I've done it, but it's not fun. So anyway, we're having a great time here. Is my time almost up? I talked too much? Now I can go back in there and work on these pants again that he's got on with a darker color. So anyway, we've started it, and let's get some red in here. We got to put some red in here, or pink. And his blanket is red. So we'll get the beginning, like, you work in layers, as we've learned through this class of mine. You work in layers in everything. So right now we're going to take a little bit of break, and we'll be back with you soon. So come back to Janna's art show and learn more how to paint these horses and Indians and good times and trees and everything. So see you soon. Bye.
Since 2008, Joel's Upholstery and Fabrics in Bentonville has been your go-to destination for top-notch upholstery and fabrics. With over 25,000 yards of in-stock upholstery and home decor fabrics, vinyls, leathers, and a vast design library, we make reupholstery easy and affordable. Our expert staff is available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. to assist you. We cater to both commercial and household upholstery needs. Stay updated on our latest news, sales, and projects by following us on Facebook and Instagram.
Well, welcome back. And let's get back to painting because we've all had our break, and I think that was wonderful. I had a sip of my coffee, and I hope everybody's got a coffee while they're painting here. Anyway, let's get back to the colors and everything, and layering these pants and everything. And I'm putting a little bit of red in that lower leg where the brown pants are. And don't let that dry. Now going back to the blue, because I see that I have not gone into the corners of it. And this is basically dry, what I'm going to put, where I'm putting my hand. But I want that darker up there, so I'm just laying some color in there. And coming down. And some of it I want to leave light because there's light at his back. So I'm going to make another layer on this blue. And then I may go to even a darker blue in the front there by his horse. And let's put a new blue there. Sometimes you can use about 3 different blues or whatever. But let the first one dry before you put the second one on. Otherwise, they'll just blend in and it won't make a difference for your colors. And I like to just move around. And this little back blanket that he's sitting on is kind of an orange color, so it's almost Halloween in orange colors, so let's put an orange in there. I hope you're all ready for Halloween. I've been riding around in my cart and looking at some of our neighbors' decorations, and everybody seems to go out for the skeletons this year. They're all over the place. And then this is a little orangey down in here too. Or I'll change it. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can change the colors of what he's wearing and so on and so forth. It's nothing set in stone. Because it is your painting and you're going to be doing what you want. Now, if you want him to have a green blanket around him, then that's fine. You got to paint that. And I see that I have gone into where the white area is with the blue. And I'm going to put a clear dab of water on there, and I'm going to use my paper towel to lift that out. Because I was talking and not paying attention to what I was doing here. But everybody says, oh, you can't fix watercolor, and that's not true. You sure can. And this blue on him in the front where the sun is coming in from this way, from the right, and it's at his back. So all this in front where he's got the blankets and everything, that is going to be dark. So half of him is going to be a dark color and the rest of it will be light. Okay, I'm going to make his blanket, horse blanket. So I guess he does have a saddle on here, but we can't see it because of the blanket. When he's got the underneath strap on him. And this is a red and black saddle blanket in stripes. And it's starting to look like pretty good coming together. We have a lot to do on this painting, and we'll be doing it next time that we meet, because I'll save all this good stuff for you when I come back. And we'll finish this together. what I do when I paint something like I showed you the board, I set it up when I finish painting for that hour or whatever. Don't paint too long. About an hour is good. And then stop and set it up someplace where you can see it. As you're watching TV or reading a book or whatever, you look up and you see it. I keep my eye on it that way so I can say, well, I want to change this and I want to change that when I get back to it. So just be mindful of that. Don't paint too long. I didn't put a mane on this horse because I want to change it from the mane that they got on this picture that I've got. So let's see, we need a turquoise to go on that other blanket roll that he's got under him or with him. And that looks pretty with the red. And one thing I love about painting our Native Americans is they are so colorful and they are so pretty to paint. I painted a man called Medicine Crow quite a while ago, and I had sent his grandson, who was at the time 92, and his grandson's now gone. So I don't want to sell the painting to anyone, so I'm going to dedicate it to the Little Bighorn College. I think his grandson would like that very much. And I've got to get a hold of those people so that I can take the painting to them. Because I don't have the heart of to sell it anymore. It's kind of like my prize. You know, you paint something that you really super like. It's kind of like my little prized possession. And I would rather have the Indian people enjoy it at the college there. That suits me pretty much. I had good conversations with the Medicine Crow's grandson, who was chief, and he was quite a colorful character and very nice. He was in charge of his Indian nation for such a long time. Okay, I'm looking at the shoes on this man, or moccasins, whatever you want to say. And there's some diamonds, which I'm assuming that are beads on his moccasins. And I think that I will do it more in an orangey color rather than the brown. I don't want to get it confused with the pants. Let's see if that works. I can always make it darker if I don't like this orangey color in there. But I want it to be different than the pants that he has on. Okay, now we're getting down to, oh gosh, let's do his hair. That's a nice black hair. Love black hair. Never got it, but however, you got to go with what you got. And there again, I'm leaving spaces as I'm painting this hair of where I can put some lighter, like a gray, for light on his hair. And they don't have a little, usually Indians have long hair. So I'm going to put a braid down the back of his head. And I like that. So as I'm looking, this comes down. And then we're going to let that dry for a little bit. And I love just jumping around, painting what I want, what I see. Now he's got some fringe hanging down over here. Let's see, this goes there. Okay. Let's use some kind of a burnt sienna light. And let's make those fringe. He's got all different colors in there. And it might be too wet yeah, it's too wet. So I'll have to go on to something else. I'll let that dry. And let's start the horse. I need a bigger brush for that little guy. Anyway, let's just pull one out of here. Now he's kind of got a gray horse, white and gray. So let's get some of that in there. There again, I'm tapping. And there's a lot of shadow in there, so I'm going to take a little bit of blue, put it on this for a shadow color on his leg, his hindquarters. And let's go down here. And this is just laying in the color right now, because we've got a lot to do on this pony that he's on. I envy all you horse people that have horses. I love them and I love painting them. My girlfriend who lives in Big Bear, she has a whole bunch of donkeys and horses and mules, and she's always painting them, and she'll even go into the carrier, her trailer that holds the horses that she moves them around on with, and paints in there. And she's also a vet. I don't know how she gets everything done that she does. So, but she's very prolific. I'll hand her that. So we got the gray in there. Now it's really got some shape to it. And we've got the main colors all laid out. And by the time we get back, this will all be dried. And we can do a lot more. And this horse, front of this horse has a lot of blue in it. I'm just going to drop some blue drops in there. And for shadow, and let that dry. And this is a good place to stop, because we have a lot of things to paint on. I guess we could put in some more brown here in the background and just kind of throw that in there, because there's a whole bunch of bushes. He's standing in bushes and everything. But I see that our time is getting kind of limited here at the studio. So just kind of tap your colors in there, and please don't go on without me. I'll be back. So have fun with this picture, or whatever picture you're working on. And you've got the basics now, and I know you can do it. Excuse me. So thank you for coming, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.